All right, here we go. Episode 13 of the What Do We Do podcast. Kyle Bogey, Dewey Stefan. You know us by now, but we are adding a third component, at least for this episode. We'll see if he can be with us here moving forward. But a guy who's been with us producing this behind the scenes, Mike Sullivan. I know, Dewey, you're really excited to get him on board here for episode 13.
We're excited that he's here, and primarily because a guy with one name, Sully.
There you
I
go.
got Bogey and I got Sully.
And Dewey.
Dewey. Perfect. So,
Works out well.
Welcome aboard, Sully. We're glad to have you officially
fellas.
on the airwaves. You've been involved since moment one, and I'm excited to have you guys explain what you're doing now and how you've been able to partner with Great Lakes Wealth, and it's going to be an awesome episode 13.
Love that. No, and I appreciate you and Rachel and everyone here being able to do the partnership with Great Lakes Wealth. You guys have been awesome. And one thing cool for me, Dewey, too, is that obviously I've been able to do it behind the scenes and kind of make you guys look good, right? I think that I've done a good job with that so far, at least.
As I said, episode one.
Making you guys look good.
As I said, episode one, I have a face for radio, baby.
Oh,
you make me look great.
Sully has sat here and had to listen to us for 12 episodes up to this point without being able to say anything.
I'll tell you what, for all the clients listening, we played on the golf course with Dewey. What a great guy to have out on the course just to play. Awesome. I love it. But no, one thing I want to say too, Dewey, is that, as I mentioned, obviously behind the scenes, I've kind of been able to work on this and make you guys look good and really do, not that you guys don't sound good already, but my point is really help you guys structure everything here. And one thing too, though, on my end is that I've also been able to listen from a not only producer standpoint, co-host standpoint, whatever you want to call it, but from just a listener standpoint. And I think that there really is throughout the course of this podcast, since we've started it, there's certain things that just stick out. And I'll tell you what, right off the bat, one of them that stuck out to me was a line that you mentioned several episodes ago about the average millionaire. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. We talked about it on the golf course, so
the
I won't spoil the surprise.
The average millionaire has 7 streams of revenue, of income. And that's one thing that I wanted to at least chat with you about now that I'm making my debut on the What Do We Do podcast. But
this is very exciting.
I think that that's one thing, too, where, here at Great Lakes Wealth, you guys, more than anything, would preach something like that. You would talk about how important it is to have multiple streams of revenue. And I think that, if anything, people need to realize it's important to not just have one revenue stream, but to work to have several.
Yes, absolutely. When you are retired, you're going to hope that you have Social Security as that second income stream. But if you're just banking on your current income stream now and your retirement and then the Social Security, I don't think you're going to have the retirement that you really want, right?
See, and let me ask you that too. It's funny you say that. What would you think, obviously, I think that's a very hot topic right now with Social Security, and I'm not holding you to this answer.
Well, we're never going to see that.
Well,
I don't think you and I will ever see that. Yeah.
I'm not going to hold you to this, Dewey, by any means, or this isn't some sort of official answer, but I really do think that whether it's in the news, whether it's just people talking, that is a very hot topic right now in terms of Social Security. People like me, I'm 27, right? A lot of people wonder, when you're 62, when you're 65, when you're that age, do you think Social Security is still going to be around? How should a younger person like myself even view that, knowing that there's a lot of chatter right now about the future of Social Security?
Well, the simple answer is that you should plan on it not being there in terms of what you put together for your family and for your quote-unquote retirement plan. You know what I'm saying? So I would put my plan together without that being there, but I'm going to absolutely expect that it is there for when I need it and for when both of you need it. And let's hope that we actually don't need it. And we'll see. But frankly, they were talking about the fact that Social Security wouldn't be there, when I was 27. I mean, I know it was many, many, many moons ago, but the conversation was there. It won't be
always
there.
Not too long ago. Come on.
Not too long ago. I'm kidding. But so yeah, you don't know what the future holds. The latest conversation, 4 or 5 years ago, was maybe allowing the the retirement Social Security person to be able to self-direct their Social Security dollars so that it's not just the guaranteed amount that you would be getting because of the interest payment that was made, but you could take the chance to put it into the market in a 401k style, whatever the case is. So, that hasn't been addressed anytime lately, I think maybe a year or two ago by the current president. But all that to say, long story short, I do believe it will certainly be there for your generation and the generation after you. But we do all of our planning here without that being a component. And then we also will do the official plan for the client with that as a component.
See, how is someone able to calculate that too? I know, Kyle, you are just a few years older than me. We're kind of in the same boat in terms of planning and stuff. But
I'll be 31 in a few days. I'm getting
more
old,
than a few
Sully.
years.
Oh,
yes.
man.
But
Woo.
how would you, I guess, say that to people in terms of the calculation aspect of it? I know that you guys on your website, GreatLakesWealth.us, have a ton of calculators and tools and whatnot. Is there a Social Security tool to be able to calculate, or is that a
So Bogey,
IRS website? or what?
Bogey, are you sure he's been around for the first 12 episodes?
He's been here. He hasn't been listening, I don't think, as much as he needed to. I'm telling you.
And
I've learned a ton. I don't know that he's taken a bunch out of
You
it.
guys have the compound interest calculators. I don't know if you have a Social Security one.
Great question, Sully. So I'm actually just giving you a hard time. We do that. We only kid the ones we love. There's one of my little cliches for the day. We only kid the ones we love.
I know you're a man of cliches. I've learned that. I love it.
And we have not mentioned that yet. But no,
Yeah.
if you go and pull your Social Security benefit report, they used to mail them annually. They don't anymore. You have to go download them from the government site. But it tells you what your dollar amount will be when you turn 65, when you turn 67, whatever age is, and it's older, and you can take your Social Security at a younger age, 62 or
Right.
65, and
Partial.
it's not as much as if you wait till you're 72 and 75, et cetera. So I encourage you to go get that statement, that report, and that would be your simplest calculation of what you would expect. And then we actually use that to go into a more complex calculation of retirement dollars for our clients.
See, I think that's the best thing too. That's good advice for don't plan on it being there, but if anything, plan for the opposite. Like you said just now, plan on it not being there. Plan on being able to save via other avenues, so you're not expecting, or not even expecting, relying on the Social Security to be there. I mean, Kyle, you've talked about even in the past episodes too about not only college planning, but really, just that retirement planning in terms of what to expect once you are that age.
Well, and that's where, Great Lakes Wealth and Dewey and his team, really come in all seriousness. And we'll get to, our ventures and, what we've been doing and the fact that we've been able to partner with you guys, and it's been very exciting. But, for you, Dewey, this really is very personal for you. This is your business. This is, what you've wanted to do. It's what you've wanted to build. And, Mike and I certainly, I think, could speak for both of us. We've been inspired, by learning about, how you kind of got into this and how you branched out of, the corporate world and have been able to build something on your own. So I guess along those lines, what does Great Lakes Wealth mean to you? And I guess how valuable is it to think about you setting up all of these various clients, for the rest of their lives?
Well, our mission is to provide Wall Street solutions with Main Street values to our clients and the communities we serve, right? And that actually goes to why this podcast even came about, because the communities we serve, as I mentioned in the trailer or episode 1, whatnot, our clients hear from us on a monthly or a quarterly basis proactively. We have a communication service system in place that dictates that. So they know what we're thinking and what we're doing and how we're going about what we do. But the community is kind of left to just figure it out. You may have a financial advisor at a full service firm, a Wall Street firm, if you will, that's here locally. Maybe, you're not getting all the attention that you would want from them because it's too big time. Maybe you're at a local community firm, and maybe your situation is, more complex than they're usually used to handling. And so without, again, picking on any type of firm, but there are firms that are really built for clients with $2.5 million and more. Some are for $10 million and more. Others are really best at, to handle those accounts that are 100,000 and less. And in this business, just like the banking business or any type of, I guess, client business, sometimes you just take on any client you can because that's what your boss wants you to do or you're told to do in program. We don't do that here, right? We have a minimum of $100,000 to become a client. Our sweet spot is probably the potential client or client that has $500,000 to $2.5 million of investable assets, and that's really known as the emerging affluent. We also refer to them kindly as the millionaires next door. We don't want to be talking over people or to people. We want to be helping people.
When you say millionaires next door, obviously you just kind of laid out the parameters in terms of 500 grand to 2.5 million, whatever it might be. But what exactly does that mean? The millionaire next door, is that the small business owner? Is that the person who is, has even Kyle? Not that Kyle and I are at that level yet, but Kyle and I, we've started a business. We've really tried to work on launching and building the business properly and correctly, and we'll continue to do that. But do you view the millionaire next door as someone just as that in terms of small business owner, American small business owner who's going to just try to launch and build a local business?
Well, it's not necessarily a small business owner. It certainly could be, but it's just anyone that's from, middle America. I don't want to say, upper middle class and pigeonhole something, but it's really those that don't understand all this stuff to the detail that you really need to. But we have a lot of clients that, frankly, if you asked them, they would say, I don't understand, all the jargon and the language. This is, not what I do. I farm my fields.
Right.
I, build my buildings. But again, the financial speak is very specific, and others say they have it all figured out. They're in a boardroom all day. They have meetings, with their, financial analysts all day. And so they may be in a situation that they might not need as much day-to-day help. Again, when we say Wall Street solutions, meaning we can get access to the most sophisticated products and investment solutions and offerings that are out there that maybe the neighborhood financial advisor doesn't have access to. And there's a host of reasons as to why. The main one is I spent over 20 years at two of the largest firms that are from Wall Street, if you will. But the other part of it is you may not need all of that, sophisticated type of financial planning, but you also, might be overcharged if you don't know what a fair fee is for the service you're getting. So it's not, complicated. It just is like everything else. You need to do the work. And, I go to my doctor. I just do what he says, and I listen to what he tells me, and I do research and ask questions back. But you want to have a professional in your corner, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, and you can of course find out more information greatlakeswealth.us. But I would ask too, what has it been like for you communicating what you learned with those 20 years ish in that world, in the Wall
Big
Street
firms.
world, the big firms and all of that, communicating that, I guess, with your team in a way where you want to bring the Main Street values, as you like to call it, I guess. What has that been like over the last several years, growing Great Lakes Wealth with your team?
Yeah, it's been fantastic, and we're truly blessed. I mean, we have an amazing team. We're up to 7 employees now. We started with 3. Episode 1, we talked about the genesis of the firm, so we won't go through all that again. But, we just won the WDIV, Best Financial Advisor, Metro Detroit, for the 4th year in a row. We've only been in business 4 years, so we won it every year we've been in business. We're voted one of the fastest growing advisory firms in the United States by wealthmanagement.com for 2019.
That's got to mean a lot to you.
That's so
too.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, I guess. Thank you. Yes, but it's
exciting.
It's many hands make light work, as we've said, and the team here, from our operations team in the front to the advisory team in the back, it's truly a collective effort. And as they say, Sully, teamwork makes the dream work.
I finish your sentence for you. I love that.
Hi, this is Dewey Steffen, CEO of Great Lakes Wealth. At Great Lakes Wealth, we believe that now, more than ever, it's so important to support our local economy. As a local business ourselves, we are dedicated to helping other small businesses not just survive, but thrive. There are several ways that we can all support our community. Order takeout or curbside delivery. Buy a gift card and use it later. Tip service workers extra. Add local goods to your grocery list. Visit online stores and shop. Today, more than ever, local businesses need our help. They are the heartbeat of our community. Let's all do what we can, as many hands make for light work. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Let me jump in and ask this, though, too, because as much as I love that quote, I feel like, you're with your slogan and your not even slogan, your mission statement, Wall Street solutions, Main Street values, right? If you had to explain to people that were listening, how exactly would you describe Main Street values? What I mean by that is I think that Wall Street solutions, everyone probably has a decent understanding of Wall Street, of financial investing, of the stock market, that type of thing. Everyone kind of knows what Wall Street solutions might mean. But when you say Main Street values, does that mean your local community-based values? Does it mean certain core principles to you? What exactly, I guess, how would you describe Main Street values in a nutshell?
So that's a great question, and I'm very glad that you asked it because we talk about it here on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. We have clients all over the country, and we actually have clients around the world. And we say that Wall Street is the same everywhere, right? And again, this is in general terms for our listeners, but in general terms, on Wall Street, you're trying to, as the client, you're trying to make as much money as you can for the degrees of risk you're willing to take, right? So the Wall Street is universal, as you said. We want to make our retirement happen. We want to do whatever it is from a financial perspective within the the degrees of risk or within the boundaries that we're setting. Fair enough?
Absolutely.
Bogey's still here. See Now, Main Street depends on where you're at. And we tell the team that Main Street in Dallas, Texas is different than Main Street in Detroit, Michigan, which is different than Main Street in San Francisco, California, which is different than Main Street down in South Florida, right? So we actually take the Main Street on either a client-by-client basis of where they are, and not geographically, per se. If we had an office in that town, then it would be. If that town got together every Saturday morning and had a pancake breakfast, we would have someone from our team at that pancake breakfast. If this town worked, the night shifts on Thursdays, well, we would be working the night shifts on Thursdays. So we truly want to be a partner in our community to help it not just survive, but thrive. And so right here in Metro Detroit, where our office is located, we do that. We have hours that accommodate the working clients in this town that we have, but we're also talking to our West Coast clients, talking to the clients we have around the world, on their time, if you will.
The community involvement, the small business, side of things, something that we certainly believe in what we're doing. We can get to that again, in just a little bit. But, as far as, that is concerned, the community aspect, of what you guys are doing, I guess, what are the goals, for you guys, for you, Dewey, Stefan, for Great Lakes Wealth over the next several years? What do you want to eventually become? Because you've already done so much here over the first 4 years.
Well, we just want to keep growing, one client at a time, one relationship at a time. It's been as much about providing, the best services, the best solutions, the best service from our team to our clients. But we also, through all of COVID-19, have learned that we're responsible for our employees. And, I take that responsibility very seriously, and I know that the rest of the management team does. But also, I appreciate, and it makes me excited to want to hire a new person and bring someone else on board. And that comes to educating and learning. Again, we were kidding as you first got on the air with us today, Sully, but we were talking earlier about the knowledge and learning and talking, whether that's about, again, the income streams that millionaires have to investing in options. Right to
love
right.
that.
I know. So we're going to do an episode. I heard. Bogey, did you hear Sully's into options?
Is he really? Wow.
Just step aside. I'll take care of that episode.
How much time a day do you dedicate towards that, Mike? Wow.
Not a lot. No.
Right. Not now that he's a small business owner. I suggested
Not as much as I'd like to.
I suggested that he doesn't do that all day long if he's going to be running a successful business. But
yeah.
all that to say, right, that as I've now got almost 25 years of experience doing this, I love sharing that experience and that education that I've acquired with clients. I certainly know an informed consumer is your best client and your best partner, right? So I love sharing it with our clients, what we're looking at and what we're thinking about and all those fun things, but also to our team. We're always explaining best practices or what we're thinking about and what may be happening from the financial services perspective, but also just from common sense. I've been around a decade or two more than you guys. So if I can share some of that and keep you out of harm's way, but you know what they say, another one, if you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it.
There you go.
Love
it. I've heard
if
that.
If I could keep you bobbing and weaving a little bit, we're going to do our best.
See, and that's right there too. And you've been, giving us various pieces of tips and advice as we've started our business, our marketing company, and I think that you've been awesome with just giving us some advice from a business owner perspective, from a just overall business practice perspective, and I believe me, I appreciate all the advice you've given us on that end. But one thing that I wanted to ask you too is I was talking to Rachel earlier, right before we started recording this, and you know how I am. I like to just ask point-blank questions and kind of get a response out of people. So I said to Rachel, Rachel, what do you think? What makes Dewey fun to work for? How is working with Dewey every single day? And one of the things that she said was that you'll really always not only challenge but really ask her for her input. Really ask her to give her advice, her opinion, and her ways of how to improve and how Great Lakes Wealth can get better, and I think that that's something where you as a business owner and as with Great Lakes Wealth, I would assume that you would say this right now here on the podcast as well, that that's one thing you probably really emphasize is empowering your employees and really making sure that it's a true team effort, because that's something as Kyle and I are really trying to, we've been hiring, we've been expanding more, and I think that from your perspective, that is big, I would assume, to have that true input, that advice, and that empowerment to your employees.
Well, that's also key. It's key for several reasons. I didn't mean to pull this cliche out, but from when
you're a man of cliches, I know. Yeah.
But some podcast listeners who know my early days in the business, if they worked at the firm that I worked at, you would have heard this before, but no one has a monopoly on ideas. No one has a monopoly on ideas.
You just pull these cliches out of your hat.
This one goes back, again, this is going back some years.
He doesn't even have his computer in front of him, ladies and gentlemen.
This is just off the information right there.
I'm totally going right from the brain with this one. Again, the more, they call it collective, right? The collective group is stronger than the individual, right? And so, because someone may have a better answer, so just on the surface, simple, but B, more people will have an expertise that you don't. You, again, both being a few years younger, maybe you're more in tune with something that I'm not, just purely based on age, right? Older folks typically have more experience, and there's another one for you, Bogey. They say that, what do they say? Age is wasted on
age is just a number. That's
I know.
Age is beauty.
No, change.
Oh, wait, no, that's not it.
We're going to delete this, and we're going to start with the cliche is youth is wasted on the young, right? Is that what it is? I think
don't waste your age on youth or something like that. That's
youth,
a Mad Men quote right there. One of my favorite shows.
I love that.
Youth is wasted on the young. But no, so again, there's something that you get just with age about wisdom and those types of things, but an expertise in this office alone. Every employee has a separate skill set.
Sure. Yeah.
We don't have 7 financial advisors or 7 CFPs or 7 options trading strategists. Sure. We don't have 7 of anything in here.
See, but that's interesting though, and I don't mean to cut you off, but there will be some businesses that will pigeonhole some employees. They'll be like, you were hired in to be this. And anytime you think outside of that, parameter or
Stay
that
in
realm,
your box,
yeah,
your
yeah,
lane.
heaven forbid that you have an idea outside of that. And I think it is slowly starting to change. And, we're a little bit younger, sure, we have our ideas and all that, but you really do have to find what that specific person, what Rachel, what somebody else in this building might do well, and be able to utilize that and expand, because that's the only way to, diversify yourself and make yourself a better employee and therefore a better business.
Especially in this current climate where there are millions of unemployed people that were not unemployed 5-6 months ago. When we talk to potential candidates, we tell them, like, listen, your expertise is in X, Y, and Z. So we're going to offer you a position in X, Y, and Z. If for some reason, it's not a perfect fit here the way it should be, but if you have the work ethic or the ambition or the wanting to move to a different part within the company, if things aren't working 3 months or 6 months, rather than just say, all right, it's not working,
Sure.
sorry, let's cut ties and part ways, we absolutely say we want, because we're growing, and so we want good, solid individuals that are then employees, and then again are going to be the future leaders of our company, if you will.
And all right, I got one more for you too. As I know we were talking earlier about your Wall Street Solutions, Main Street Values, and I wanted to ask one more thing about that as we're talking about your business structure, your employees, all of that. But how do you go about servicing and handling clients in terms of, I think that nowadays everyone feels like sometimes they are a number. And I believe that. I think that especially with all these big companies, everyone feels like they're just a number in line, where they are going to get a service from company X and they feel like they're not a name, but they're more so a number. How do you balance that in terms of, I feel like you guys do have that personal relationship with every single client, where it is, sure, the big picture Wall Street Solutions with Main Street Values, but coming up with a way to serve and help clients so they don't feel like just a number, where you actually know them by name. I mean, that has to be huge just from a business standpoint.
It is, and thank you. And we have not mentioned this on a prior episode. I was about to, Bogey, kind of make Sully squirm a little bit and say, what? You didn't hear episode 4 or 5?
This is why we brought him on. I mean, this is amazing.
I listen to, I'm a P1. I listen to every second of every episode.
Yes, I know.
You know that I do.
Oh, I know that you do for sure. So we've actually taken a service approach from 2 other experienced service companies, if you will. One is called the Pareto Principle, and there's a company out of Canada, I think, called Pareto, or the Pareto Group or whatever.
Yep.
But we've been studying them for over 10 years. And the
Wow.
Pareto Principle, I know Bogey has it on the tip of his tongue, but it's commonly known as the 80-20 rule.
Okay.
Right? So in business, 80% of your productivity comes from 20% of your, your clients, your group, your efforts. Right. So in business, or in the world of analyzing your productivity, it is focus on the 20% that you have, and that creates 80% of your output, meaning your results. Does that make some sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, the 80-20 rule. So we incorporate that here along with something known as the Supernova Advisor. And this is a plug to Robert Knapp and his team that created the Supernova Advisor. He was a Merrill Lynch advisor, again, more than 10 years ago, I think, left to start this consulting group called the Supernova Advisor. And we take it very seriously here. And the Supernova experience is based upon working with clients proactively. So the majority of, we think, our competitors out there, they talk to their clients one of 2 ways. The client either calls in because they're either upset or super happy, and probably more likely upset because the market's crashing and they haven't heard from anybody for so long on what's going on.
And that's understandable. I mean, it's your money. Yeah.
Right. And at the same time, again, the traditional ways of investment advising was just to have so many clients because that means you were, doing well. The more clients, the better. How many clients you got? I got 400. How many you got? I got 800. I got 2,000, baby. Okay. And so we go the other way. And so the Supernova Advisor basically is built on the principle that each advisor in a firm, and we have 3 advisors here now, and we're looking to expand for experienced advisors out there. But in our model, through Supernova, each advisor can have a maximum of 100 households or 100 clients that they work with. Okay. And guess what? If you have a number of 100, you're working with them every single month with a check-in phone call.
Sure.
And the system is called the 12-4-2. 12 months in a year.
Yep.
So just contact or talk to that client once a month. 12. 4 of those are quarterly would be, financial reviews, actual, let's get out the pie charts and check out the reports. And then 2 would be in person, right? So 12-4-2. Let's talk 12 times a year, once a month. Let's have 4 of those or quarterly meetings, reviews, calls about the portfolio. Yep. And then 2 of those can be in person, except for now would be a Zoom meeting, unless we're on the golf course 6 feet apart, right?
Correct.
So I'll finish it real quick by saying, and the way it works and how it makes it simple is if you have a 10-hour workday and you take an hour for lunch, so it's a 9-hour workday with your lunch. You follow me there, Bogey. Might be new to you to work that much.
I'm just trying to work as hard as you do.
I'm just saying, because again, I know on the show you were on at 97 on a ticket, it was kind of 2 to 6, like 4
Correct,
hours.
yeah.
That's all you did.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no.
There was
prep
more
goes
preparation, but as opposed to just 2 to 6. Okay?
I got it for sure. I'm teasing for sure.
Yeah.
But so in our world, we believe that if we have a maximum of 100 clients per advisor that we work with, and you can block off time 5 hours in your day, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and then 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So if you block off an hour, 5 a day, 5 days in a week is 25. Times 4 weeks in a month is 100. So we actually have it where, again, instead of going to your dentist and having a checkup every 6 months, we just have a checkup every month, right? So,
I love that.
So
That's
you're,
great.
you'd be the 3rd Tuesday of every month at 2 p.m. And so most of our clients love it because they just know that they can take notes and make notes, and we'll be checking in with them. Something always comes up where either they are vacationing and they'll skip a month, or somebody here, is ill or just isn't necessary to have that call. So we don't actually do all 12 most of the time.
But it's on the schedule.
It's pre-scheduled. It's proactive checking in, right? And then so with that, you end up having deeper relationships with your 100, and you're working with them rather than, I hate to say, going out into town and trying to find another client. We work with what we have here first, and then if someone else wants to come on in and join our family, we want to make sure that it's a fit both ways. It's not just based on how much money you have to invest, and if you're a big shot. It really comes down to, do we offer what you're looking for?
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Well, look, we don't want to certainly, turn this into what are Bogey and Sully and all of that doing. But, this was something that, we haven't been able to have, Mike on the podcast just yet. He's been, the producer, the guy behind the scenes, making everything happen, making us sound good, as he would like to say. But, Mike, obviously, this is a venture that you are going down here, with myself, Brand25, Metro Detroit Golfers. We're really excited about it. We've been doing, a lot of work with you, Dewey, and Great Lakes Wealth. And, this is something that we're really excited about kind of forging into, full time here moving forward.
Well, I'd like to interrupt for just
please.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the podcast listeners out there that don't know, both Bogey and Sully come from radio. They both come from 97.1 The Ticket, different shows at different times during the day. Did I get that correct so far?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then we've had a relationship for quite some time, and then as, the world changes, or the more things change, the more they stay the same, or whatever that cliche is, we brainstormed, got together, you two started Brand25, am I right?
Yep, absolutely.
And then said, Dewey, let's collaborate and do a podcast with Great Lakes Wealth, co-hosted and produced by Brand25.
Yep.
And so with that, for the podcast listeners that don't know, the Sully background and the Bogey background, please spend a few minutes, introducing yourselves.
Thank you,
to
Dewey.
the rest of the worldwide audience that we have.
No, I love that. You can check it out, brand25media.com. Thank you for that. That was a very impressive introduction.
I can't wait.
You made us sound better.
I want some chapstick and some hand sanitizer
and one thing you'll notice,
some Pro V1s.
You'll notice on Brand25 Media that Great Lakes Wealth is one of the very first clients that we have up there in terms of who we've enjoyed working with. But
product placement. Baby.
Yeah. No, I think that's been the main thing where even now more than ever, I think that especially during, there you go, get that pen right, especially during COVID and especially with the world is at right now, I think every business, every company realizes that they have to be online. They have to have an online presence. They have to be on social media. They have to focus on their digital presence. And I'm not going to bore you with numbers, but I do feel like, any number you look at right now, especially one that we always seem to look at and point to, is that 90% of people admit that they look up a company online before deciding to do business with a company, i.e. Great Lakes Wealth. If someone's thinking about doing business with Dewey and Rachel and the great team that we have here, what are they going to do? Before they make any decision, they're going to go online to Google or to Instagram or to Facebook and search Great Lakes Wealth. And I think that's where we've been really able to help companies out, where we're able to come in and be that digital media branch of the company and help them with those areas, help them with their social presence, their online presence. And that's been really not only just awesome building a business, but really fulfilling to see some of the success stories we've had with helping companies with that online presence, whether it's through a podcast, whether it's through social media management, whether it's through SEO, whether it's through website design. There's been a variety of subjects that we've been able to help with, and I think that, Kyle, I know you agree with me on that. That's been the most fulfilling part of it, where we can really step in without a company having to pay someone a full-time salary and benefits and all this, but they can have us come in and be that partner to help with that stuff.
Yeah, and this was something that it just kind of started with us having a conversation, and over the last almost year, we just kind of said, well, you know what, we'll just start something, we'll see where it goes, and we'll partner on a few things, and let's help a few companies out. And this was, I kept calling it our side gig for a few months there, and then all of a sudden things just kept progressing, and we kept getting, I think, a little bit better at what we were doing, and specializing in certain things. Obviously, the golf courses and management and things like that have been
MDG,
huge for us, but it really has been a little bit of it all, and I think that's been the most exciting part. Obviously partnering with you and Great Lakes Wealth has been exciting. This has been
awesome.
A world that I'm not all that familiar with. I know Mike's an expert on the financial world. He really is. At least according to him.
Yeah.
No, but
according to me, I am.
In all reality, though, learning things about different businesses and how they operate, and how we can potentially come in and help them, and you guys has been it's been a lot of fun, and we've been able to take it now and turn it into this full-time thing, and we're really excited about what the future might hold.
Even being able to, when we first talked, remember we were talking about helping you with some social media stuff, which I know Rachel and everyone does a great job with here, helping you with some digital stuff, but then we kind of really brainstormed and talked about the podcast, and really, just doing that to help with you and help your current clients stay updated, help anyone who might be potentially interested in Great Lakes Wealth have a resource here to kind of help them make their decision. I think that's been awesome, and we obviously appreciate your support, and not only, and I mean this sincerely, not only from you having us do your podcast, having us help with that, but also the advice that you've given us on the side, even some of the non-podcast stuff that we're not gonna officially mention Dewey's advice, because not that it's bad at all, because it's great, but there's been so much advice. My point is that you've given us off the air that has been really meaningful to us in terms of just that advice as a friend, to help
things to pay attention
to help build
what
our
to look
company,
out for.
to help pay attention to stuff, and I think we appreciate that, Dewey. It's been awesome.
Words from the wise.
Yes, absolutely.
This guy with the thumbs up.
Right,
Yeah, I love
thumbs it. Up. That's it. Get
love
to
that.
it.
Yeah.
Get to it. Yeah. Well, I'm so excited for you both. As we say in this podcast, we're just getting started.
Yep.
You're just getting started for sure. And another cliche, drinking out of a fire hose, controlled chaos, whatever you deem it to be, one day at a time. Seriously, you just got to take, like that elephant, bite one at a time.
Yeah.
But we're excited for our collaboration to just become more, more complex and detailed. And, proud of you guys for what you started.
Thank
and,
you.
We're looking forward to being a part of the ride.
And looking forward to getting back on the golf course again soon, too.
Yes, we're not even going to talk about the details.
I'll
of
tell you,
the
Dewey is a college golfer. He has a good swing. I love how when Dewey gets out on the course, he takes it seriously. He wants to play well, but he also loves to have fun at the same time, which I love.
it was a good day for having fun and not worrying about the game so much.
And we will do it again soon.
Yes.
Onward. There's no doubt. All right. That'll do it for episode 13. We don't want to turn this into, too much about us or anything like that, but we look forward to having Sully on the podcast a little bit more here moving forward, as opposed to just being behind the scenes. I think we have a great episode with the
options episode.
I am very much looking forward to that episode.
Dewey might kick me out.
Are you? I don't know if you're looking forward to it or
He might kick me out
not.
for my opinions on the options.
The problem with options is not only are they high risk, if done improperly, they can be actually risk-free if they're done properly. But again, besides the taste of risk that's in there, there's some descriptions, the way that these are titled and categorized, that I'm going to have to go by the FCC as well as the compliance team to make sure that we can even talk about these things intelligently. So we'll get to them. Just kind of kidding about that, but. Back to the financial part. Next week will be a new month, September 1st.
Crazy.
And we're really excited to get into September. There is that old adage, stay away from Wall Street until after Labor Day. That's coming up the following week. And
then the election not too far after that, which always factors into the stock market seemingly.
Big time. That's the election cycle. So we were blessed to be able to kind of, not go too deep in anything today, I guess, and so we're going to get into it next week. Roll up the sleeves, and a lot to cover. So come back and listen. Stay tuned. And as always, we're just getting started.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. It's only intended to provide education about the financial industry. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Any indices referenced for comparison are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. As always, please remember investing involves risks and possible loss of principal capital. Please seek advice from a licensed professional.